content warning. This following contains strong language. It's a little spicy. Viewer discretion is advised.
Kua rangatira ke te upoko o raro. The little head ruling the big head. Kei te pai koe, bro.
Te aoranga pū, bro. Te kuaretanga. Te kaikiritanga.
He ua ne, bro.
Ia nini toki māhunga. Pakehiwi. Puku ope waiwai.
Heka, kei te tino raru koe, bro. He tākuta kei te whare.
Kei konei te tākuta. Nā wai karanga. I te mana nā nei whakataura karangatia, ta tiritio, waitangi!
Orokate is a podcast by the Hori and Te Guru. Toi tu te porokate, toi tu te reo Māori. Tēnā tātou, nau mai ki te whare toi o Hori, for tēnei porokate. Toi tū te porokate. Pai ki te kiti a koe pau, te kuru, kei te ora tonu koe.
Tēnā koe, bro. Ai, kei te ora te reo Māori, kei te ora te ao Māori. Ko tō tātou manuhiri i te rānei ko te tākuta, o ngā tākuta, Tākuta Ferris.
Kia ora tātou, tēnā tātou, kōrua hoki. Wēnā e māwiwi ana, he rongo a mō tērā. Hoi anō, ko Tākuta Ferris taku ingoa. He uri ahau no ngā toro ngā katoa o Tākitimu waka. Koi te pēhei whakatipuria mātou i roto i te wākanga i pōranga hau. Hoi anō, nōku te whiwhi, kia tae mai ki runga ki te porokāte nei. E mihi ana, kia kōrua, tātou.
Kia ora, cuz. Let's just jump straight into this, eh?
Let's go, bro. This year, man, this is the year, right? We will either like strike a massive blow this year, or we'll let it fizzle out, and it'll be a nothing. You know? Yeah. So that's sort of like where all the culminated energy and thing is right now. Everyone's just like, what's next? What's next? But there are so many different pockets in Te Ao Māori that need you got to pull them together to harness all the energy, all the resources, all the people, all the communities, all of that, so that you can have a massive crack, you know, like one we've never seen before.
Yeah, and it's the same, I guess it's going within the movement as being really strategic in the way you place yourself and making sure that fatigue doesn't set in. Because there's people like, what's happening here? Why aren't we doing this?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, we're just strategizing to make sure we hit the right points and get the right time in. So this must be the same thing within and outside of the house.
Yeah, hard, bro, hard.
Yeah.
And like I think the good thing about outside the house, so we try and get out to all the kaupapa. Hey, the reo kaupapa, the kapahaka, all of those things. And really, all of them are pumping. They're pumping, bro. So, you know, and that's a part of, you know, all the crap, all the shit happening over there is spurring on all the countermeasures that we've been invested in for years now, generations. They're pumping. So, you know, being across all those things now is important, you know. But at the end of the day, we've got to pull it all together. Tiwi Māori whānau, got to pull it all together so that you can have a massive crack.
I think we're seeing way more like there's kua kahake te wairua o te kotahitanga, eh?
Aye, bro. Aye.
My own, you know, my whole life I've been observing these phenomena, and like you're right,
bro.
when they hit us, our responses always reaffirm our Māoritanga even stronger.
I think, you know, one of the things with being in there is you're exposed daily to the negative shit.
Yeah.
Hey, but the positive voice from Te Pākehā and Ngai Tauiwi, all of the non-Māori in the country, you can definitely feel that actually they're sort of not in the same club as the government. You know, there's more known about our country now. You know, people know more about the history. They're not about to just, you know, flip over like they might have 20 years ago or 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, they actually know, they're conscious about it. They understand, well, actually, you know, if we want to go forward well, you know, that sort of behavior, what the government's doing now, just straight up racist down the middle stuff, it doesn't help anyone in the long run. There's more people like that around now, and that's a good sign.
And I wonder if the national voter base, because it certainly seems that what you might accept as a conservative national voter would be upset. This is kind of what we're saying. Hey, they would be saying, "Oh, we didn't vote for this.
Yeah.
This is not Aotearoa. This is not what proud to be Kiwi is about."
Yeah.
So I wonder what will happen in the next election. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because Luxon still plays the card like e whakataru nā ana ia, e whakaari ana ia me pēnei me he hoa. O te ao Māori, they're kind of getting away with the whole, we
It's
didn't,
not us.
we didn't, we didn't sign up
These
to
guys,
this, but they did sign up to it.
Yeah, 100%, bro. He's the leader.
Yeah.
You're the leader of the government of the country.
Yeah.
What's on display, bro, is the arrogance of the dominant culture. The dominant culture isn't stupid. They're brainy ass.
Yeah.
They know and understand every bit of data that they've collated over the last, you know, however long they've been doing it. So none of our issues are not understood by them. So the exercising of power by the dominant culture that's happening right now in a very brutal anti-us way is, it tells you what the underlying attitude is of the crew who currently have control, power and authority in Aotearoa. The underlying attitude, right? And the underlying attitude is they're better. You know, so it doesn't matter how much rationale or information, data, whatever you put up, none of it's going to matter because their ultimate underlying attitude is that they're better.
And they think better.
Yeah, everything they do is better.
Yeah.
Right? So we could get a bunch of overseas experts to come, crunch the numbers of the last 50 years, put forward a set of recommendations about how best to run this country. Most of them would start with do better for Māori, and none of them would be accepted. You know, that's the crew you're dealing with. And like the stupid thing about the current scenario is if National were the economic wizards they claim to be,
Yeah.
they would be worried about what circumstances, you know, what settings they're putting in place now that help the new 30% bubble
Right.
coming through. Right? So all the young Māoris and Polynesians.
It's 100% just, that's what I meant to say before, they're dead set on securing their own pension, eh, bro?
Yeah, that's right, bro.
Not for anyone
that's right,
else.
for themselves.
They're
Even not for their
matapiko,
own
eh?
kids, bro.
Not even their own kids.
Not even
because
their
their
own
own
kids.
kids, guess what, are probably getting down with those Māori dance moves.
And we're playing this long game, mate.
Because it's
Such
upper
a
wires
long
all
game.
day. And we're the popular culture, bro. We've seen it at the Olympics.
Just Golden Point.
The All Blacks women's team or the men's team have been Māori for a long time, and Polynesian.
bro,
The women's team are like 100% doing poi when they walk out to play the opposition, and we love it. Like athletes have always been pushing that ground in popular culture. There's no more popular culture in Aotearoa than hakinakina, than sports. And these fellas are just these little like the nerds who never like got the picture, and they're trying to get their little pocket
They never
change.
got chosen.
Because they can't work real jobs, so we got to do politics and rewire the system to pay us.
Yeah, hard, bro, hard. Like, you know, this is one of my serious arguments, right?
Yeah.
And like all my time in education, we've been doing work that's targeting that 30% young Māori. The 10 going on 12% young Polynesians who are coming through. And unless you are helping them get set up, you're not helping the economy. You're clogging up the future justice system. You're stuffing up social going forward. You're stuffing up everything going forward.
There's no foresight, like, to see that
Well, the
far.
thing is, bro,
like,
they know.
they do know.
Oh, it's
They know.
intentional.
Well, they're these economic, like,
Yeah.
geniuses.
Yeah.
Why aren't they, like, trying at least? It's just like,
Self-interest, cuz.
yeah,
Greedy old me.
yeah.
Get mine now.
It's crazy, yeah. It's how
Crazy,
how
bro. It's
stark
crazy.
it is, like how blatant it is in our face, and
It
how
is,
it can
man.
still be reported by most media outlets as they're still trying to stay neutral
Yeah, yeah,
when we're having
being
this
okay.
real, like, well, I would say far right grip,
extreme right,
grip
cuz.
on our own
Yeah.
lawmakers. Yeah.
Aye. Yeah.
What we've
Lux's
seen
laws.
around the world as well, you know.
Yeah,
We're seeing
that's
it
right,
around
bro.
the world
Yeah.
in certain countries.
That's
and
right.
it goes back and forth, but it's almost like this is the worst case we've had in a long
Yeah.
time.
Okay, Doki, so just tell us a couple of things. Hea te rere kētanga between kind of Māori politics and Pākehā politics that you've seen in your few years doing this mahi?
Yeah, but it's a hot topic, eh?
Right.
And so that whole debate about, what does it mean to be a Māori?
Right.
You know, you know, you don't speak for me. Am I not Māori enough for you? All of this carry on. That's all a sideshow. It's politics in this country. It's really the heart of what drives power, control, and authority anywhere. Okay, and here it's a thing called democracy. Democracy is a Pākehā idea. The system that enables it is a Pākehā idea. It's a Pākehā system, and it's deeply rooted in individualism. You know, so they go on about the individual property rights being paramount, but even more than that, Parliament's built on the model of a church. That's why you have ministers and ministries and it's all built on the model of a church, right?
True.
And the church in old, you know, English whakapapa and Western whakapapa, it's really about individualizing something. You know, so it's premised on the individual. So, you know, through politics, that's what comes along. It's premised on the idea of competition for resources. And when you have competition, someone wins, someone loses. And that leads to isolation. That's what the system builds.
Yep.
Individualism leads to competition. You winner, loser, that leads to isolation of someone. So that's sort of like, you know, that's the underlying motions that are in play in democracy and the politics of the day. So us, on the other hand, we're whanaumatanga. Hey, we're collectivism, not individualism.
Yeah.
Hey, we're manaki, koha, aroha, toha. Hey, we share a resource for a collective benefit. We're not competition for a resource. And then, well, what does that lead to? If you share a resource, it means you got a win-win. Hey, you haven't got a win-lose.
Aye.
So rather than isolation being the outcome, stronger connection is the outcome. You know what I mean? So like just basically, there's your Te Ao Pākehā view and its mechanism, democracy, and here's our view. Hey, and we're collectivism and we're talk through until you get to an agreed decision. Okay, so you got those two things. But at the end of the day, democracy and Pākehā politics in this country are the politics of the individual. So I don't care what my whakapapa is, what iwi or hapu I'm related to, I can just stand up here and say what I want, what I think, you know?
Not what the collective,
Not what the collective thinks.
the iwi, the hapu, that.
Yeah.
Aye.
So Māori participation in politics, if it's that, that's premised on all of that Pākehā whakapapa, all of that Pākehā idealism. And, you know, at the end of the day, you want to track back through Pākehā whakapapa, you end up at the Bible and all of the stuff that comes out of it. But it really just boils down to self-interest. Why would you put the benefit of the majority, and for Māori in that system, you're talking about the benefit of your kids, you know, because in the next, you know, depending on how much stuff they get across the line, the next 2, 3, 4 years are gonna be difficult because that's the shape of the law. And unless you got real staunch ass advocates out there who are willing to challenge the law, it's just gonna be difficult for us. So if you're letting that happen, you're really just setting your kids up to have a shit next 5 years, and your kaumata is up to have that shit next 5 years. So why would you possibly pursue that? Self-interest is the only thing I can come up with.
Aye. And I guess that's the criticism that Te Pāti Māori have taken is especially this whole grassroots kōrero that's coming out, you know, is that once you enter into the kawanatanga space, you've got one arm in there, that your arm in the rangatiratanga space or somehow gets chopped off. And
And
that
you're no
kōrero-
longer grassroots.
Aye. And it's to hear that from our own people say that is really you know, it really pulls my narco down because I'm like, I always say, you know, they're the most grassroots
just
people
products
you
of
could,
mainstream schooling, bro.
and yeah, well, there's that, but there's also like that whole kōrero, they don't speak for me and like this, but my whakaaro around it, and you know, come in if I'm chime in here if I'm pulling it.
Go hard, bro. Go
well,
hard.
that none of you guys really are like lifetime politicians, eh?
Oh, nah, bro.
You know.
We're not even politicians, bro.
Yeah.
Well, he said
I
earlier, if he's kaumātua status, we got to pull him out.
But
we
yeah.
say, let it go, bro.
But,
Don't want to see you in one of these pictures.
but yeah, the long term goal, like I don't see it like as being, you know, it's something. Yeah, you don't just get you're in that space. You're taking that space because it's a necessity that you take that space because it's there.
Aye, bro.
But that does not take you out of here. And what are your thoughts
Oh,
on
bro,
that criticism,
I've
bro?
got no aspirations of being a career politician. This is a job that needs to be done. We get organised now, not later. You have a crack at doing it. We might get to the point where, oh, no, not going to work this time. Have to go again. Oh, no, didn't quite get to that time either. Going to have to go again.
Aye.
You know, then you could be 9, 12 years down the track. Bro, time is now.
Okay, Kapo, bro. Noema. It's looking like that might be a big month for Te Māori with the Treaty Principles Bill coming out and being read for the first time, potentially, whatever they do. What would you say to Te Māori and that movement, you know, whether they're bracing themselves to that, like, you know, coming into that November date, what would you say to Te Māori?
Yeah, bro, it's a good part. This could be a pivotal time in the history of our relationship with the treaty partner in this country, or it could be a missed opportunity. And so the Treaty Principles Bill is like, it's the penultimate anti-Māori action. So they've got all of these other things just charging it up, then they chuck the foreshore seabed back in there, and they're going to do it before November, before the treaty bill. So it's got to be an action that's never been seen before.
Like what they're doing.
That's right, bro. Like
And
this
it will
government, this fellas are doing actions that have never been seen before, not for 100 years. And so that's what we have to do, you know. And there's that old bloody saying, what is it? If you want to see a different result, you have to be willing to do something different, to get that result.
Yep.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, well, that's just stupid. So that's what's on the table. Is there's an opportunity, it's a generational opportunity. It's come about in shit circumstances, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so if you got kids today that are Māori kids, and you don't want to see this or the tail of this drag on into the future, this is the year.
Aye.
This is the year. So whatever it is, whatever the call is, make sure you're there.
Oh, well, you heard him, whānau. Make sure you're there and make sure you're back here to see part 2 of Tākuta Ferris. There was so much gold in this episode. We had to go round 2. So be here for Porokate, toi tū te Porokate. We'll see you soon.
Porokate is a podcast by the Hori and the Guru. Toi tū te porokate, toi tū te reo mai.